We are made up of so many different components as people. And if any of you have ever taken a tazkiyah class with me, you would have heard this statement. You cannot be disciplined in anything unless you're disciplined in everything. Cannot be disciplined in anything unless you're disciplined in everything. Eventually, the areas of your life that are not put together are going to bleed into the other areas. And they're going to have real impacts on those other areas of life. So I can't leave one area of my life in shambles and run to the area of my life that makes me feel better and just focus on that. And I come back to a statement from Abu Hazm rahimahullah ta'ala, one of the tabi'een, who was asked by Sulaiman ibn Abdul Malik rahimahullah, who was the Khalifa. He said, why do we hate death so much? Why do we hate death as people? Why does death cause us the apprehension that it causes us? And he responded, he says, because you have established yourself in life and you have ruined your hereafter. So naturally, a person hates to leave an area that they feel well established in to an area of uncertainty in a place that's in shambles. If you apply that methodology to the things that take place in our lives, then you'll also find it to be true. A lot of times if things are not put together in one area of life, I'm not going to try to fix that. I'm just going to continue to indulge disproportionately the area that makes me feel good about myself, the area where I feel fulfilled, and hope that I can continue to bleed into that and just focus on that. But that's not sustainable, and it's not healthy, and it's not Islamic. Islamically speaking, whatever you do for yourself to make yourself a more capable abd of Allah, a more capable slave of Allah, and a more capable khadim, a more capable servant to the people, is rewardable in and of itself. So all those notions of self-care and emotional health and taking a break, inshallah ta'ala, make things better for us in that regard. I will just continue on this, that quality of seeing things through, the perfection of an action, making sure that an action is done right, was something that manifested itself in every aspect of life of the Prophet ﷺ, with the way that he did his wudu, to the very famous, a beautiful hadith, until the Prophet ﷺ made sure that they saw the end of what they were seeking. So he wouldn't just touch something, he would see it through, right? So it's a quality that the Prophet ﷺ developed, that he could take intentionally to every single aspect of his life. And so when we're talking about adopting these qualities of the Prophet ﷺ in our different aspects of life, it's to help put us together in the most wholesome way possible, in a way that benefits our deen and our dunya, a way that benefits our careers and our family lives, in a way that benefits our productive role as community servants, as well as not being sloppy with our acts of worship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it's to develop those frameworks, those qualities, and that balance. And on that note, inshallah ta'ala, you cannot expect religion to be put together for you if you don't give it its time. Anything in life, you got to give it its time, so you got to be attentive to it. If you want it to come together in a way that's healthy, you have to be willing to give it its time. So if you want things, if you're in a turbulent marriage, you need to be willing to give it time to reduce that turbulence, right? And you have to be willing to take the necessary steps. The same thing with faith. This isn't something that just comes to you when it's in shambles, like I'm just going to make dua and why isn't it happening for me? Giving it its time and taking the necessary steps to put it together. And if this is our priority, to have our purpose in line, to have our faith in line, then we have to be willing to be extremely intentional about doing whatever it is that's necessary to keep it put together and streamlined, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala.